Hey guys, welcome to Broad Street to Britain, a UK Phillies show with me, Dave Shaw, and as ever, I am joined by some very special guests to talk Phillies on what has been another series win. 3 of the bounce now for the Phillies, back on track, you would like to say, and I am joined by Alex Carr. Alex, how are you, buddy?
Dave, I'm doing wonderfully. Just got back from a nice little vacation, feeling rejuvenated. It was nice to have a Phillies win in my return. But very excited to have another episode here. Pumped up.
Yeah, we're gonna dive into this. We're at halfway point of the season now. We're gonna ramp up the podcast as we head into the All-Star break, deadline day coming up, and of course a big second half of the season where the schedule is gonna get tougher, and we're gonna
draft, Dave. The draft
and the draft. Sorry, I know this is the draft's your bread and butter.
Oh, please!
And we will do it. We will do a draft special as well. We'll get some. We'll get yourself some guests on, and because for me, I know nothing about these draft picks. The minors is not my speciality, Alex. I know it's your, like I said, bread and butter.
Oh.
So we'll do a draft special for that. Guys, you may recognize Stuart. Stuart is back from last week, our last recording. Stuart, how are you, man?
I am fine. Just straight from work. I've not seen any of the Tigers game tonight yet, but I'm sure you can fill me in. I know Marsh was barking, which we'll talk about later. And I'm ready to go. And I'm excited for Alex to teach me about the draft because I literally know nothing.
Alex is a man. And I imagine for you, Stu, it's nice to get over the Euros and Scotland's disappointment.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry.
I couldn't let it slide. We couldn't let it slide. Although England haven't been much better. But it's
I was going to say, Dave, you can relate, please.
We've qualified, and that's all I've got.
Am I correct in saying that England have scored the exact same amount of goals as Scotland did?
Yeah, but
I think you are correct.
England have also had their own players scoring goals. I haven't seen a Scotland player score. Oh, you credited that deflected goal. I'm not having it. And a newcomer to the show on his debut, we have Sam Oakley. Sam, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, thanks. And don't forget, we conceded last. That's why we got.
Yes, one lucky goal against Denmark. Exactly. So, we haven't got our second gear yet. England haven't.
Exactly.
Bring on. It's Slovakia now. Slovakia on Sunday.
Yes.
Yes, my favorite soccer podcast.
Yeah, here we go. What, Sunday could be a really miserable evening or a glorious.
Copa America's on now as well, isn't it?
Yeah, Alex, you're going to Copa America, right, tomorrow?
I am going tomorrow, and I am very, very excited.
What game are you going to see?
Oh, if only I could remember.
Wow.
I think. Don't let me get it wrong. Hold on. Let me check what my tickets were.
I presume it's in New York, right?
I knew that Copa was coming to MetLife, and I was like, "There's no way I'm not going to that." So I immediately pounced on tickets.
You can Google it first.
I believe it is. Oh goodness!
It's either going to be Panama, USA, or Venezuela, Mexico.
I believe it's Venezuela, Mexico, but I'm not 100%. That's why I want to make sure I get it.
That's crazy. I thought Mexico would be crazy.
It's
crazy crowds.
Going to be unbelievable. I am so excited for the environment. I'm so excited because listen, as great as Citizens Bank Park is during any sort of playoff game, there is nothing like football overseas to get you a big old crowd bump. And I'm so excited. It's going to be the coolest thing ever. I couldn't be more excited to experience it.
That's a big. Mexico is going to be a big game. I think they won their first game as well, and Venezuela lost. So I think it's a must-win for Venezuela. Brazil have had a shocker.
It's Uruguay, Bolivia. That's why I couldn't.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, Uruguay, Bolivia.
I'm not editing that out.
No, that's at SoFi. That's at SoFi.
Okay, yeah, Uruguay, Bolivia. Well, still Uruguay.
It's going to be great. Are you kidding?
Darwin,
it's going to be awesome.
It's better than the usual rubbish that gets played at that stadium anyway.
Truly.
So.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. And of course, the World Cup in USA.
And that's also coming to MetLife, and I am going to be hopefully attending that as well.
Yeah, we all know England are going to play USA on July the 4th, and America's big anniversary birthday at the Link. It's nailed on. Nailed on. Get me there. Anyway.
Oh, and Scotland.
We'll see.
We will.
Anyway, let's talk Phillies. Before we get into it, guys, next Sunday. Yes, next Sunday at Passyunk Waterloo. Braves v the Phillies. Huge series. We'll be having a meet-up from 6:30 for the game. If you're in London, if you're around London, if you can get to London, head to Passyunk Waterloo. Join us for what should be, hopefully, a series decider or a sweep. But let's hope that's very hopeful.
Oh,
Decider and a massive one for the Phillies. That's going to be a big series with the Braves just starting to whittle down the gap slightly. But right, Tigers, 3 series in a row. The Phillies' first road series win since pre-London, since the last time they played the Mets in New York. Feels like forever. Alex, this was a good series win. Any road series win is good, but it was nothing spectacular. It was very gritty. They grinded it out. We were far from our best. Let's be honest. In game 1, we struck out 17 times. It wasn't for Bowman Marsh. We would have, I hate to say it, we would have got nothing from that game. Skugel was excellent in game 2. We had no chance. Today was Brandon Marsh stepping up. Again, when Bowman wasn't quite at the races, Brandon Marsh steps up. But this series win was a job done. Back on track, 3 straight series wins. We're getting into the groove again. We're nicely sort of rested and over that whole London, Baltimore, Boston hangover. And Marlins next. Now the ship has been steadied, right?
yeah. I mean, it is hard to be upset about losing to, the guy that is easily going to sweep Cy Young in the American League this year. I mean, Skubal's been on another level, and that I think it was, who did he deliver a 101 mile per hour fastball to? And they didn't even. I think it might have been Bryce Harper.
That was Bryce, wasn't it?
He dialed it up to 101, and Bryce just was basically in the dugout by the time the pitch hit the glove. It was. He's on another level right now. Everyone who was looking at peripherals knew that if Skubal stayed healthy, he was going to win the Cy Young. I mean, it's no surprise. But I think that they beat the pitchers they were supposed to beat. They beat Casey Mize up. I guess. It's hard to say.
The first inning was crucial.
Yeah.
It's like Casey Mize' first innings. His ERA is like in the 4s, and then he settles down into games. So the Phil's got the job done.
Well, he's very good. Remember, that's a former first overall pick. He's a very talented pitcher. It's just it's hard when you strike out 10 times against a guy, but you also put up 4 or 5.
It was a bizarre game. It was a
really weird game.
It was a game we'd usually lose, to be fair.
Probably correct, but I mean, and then today, taking care of business as usual. There was no way that they were going to lose today. As soon as Flaherty was scratched, I think you could have tied this one up with a bow.
Absolutely.
So Brandon Marsh coming and doing the thing. Everybody continues to step up. Bryce Harper is on another level
we'll get
at the moment. I'm sure we're going to. But I mean, business as usual. I feel like. I don't know. I feel like at this point, when you've won 53 games through, 80 game mark at this point?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's, you kind of expect to win those series, even if you are at a very pitcher-friendly ballpark. So
yeah, and positives, pitcher-friendly. Aaron Nola game 1 was excellent.
Was
7
awesome.
innings, allowed 6 hits, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts. ERA now down to the low 3s. Like we said, it was a Bryson Bowman show, because other than that, it was swing and misses all the way along. Bowman went 4 for 5, 4 RBIs, 66 on the season. Stuart, before this season even got underway, in fact, did Bowman get an RBI yesterday as well? No, he didn't. No, that was his last time he got an RBI. So, before the season started, I remember us having a conversation even in the group chat that Alec Bohm needs a big year. He needs to step up. He's been excellent defensively. Now he needs to make that next step up. Boy, how he's done that has been unreal.
He's been just insane and incredible. Like, I honestly didn't expect it. I will not lie. At the start of the season, I wasn't sure if it was going to be his year. He has blown everything I expected out the way. You see that in the All-Star voting. I'm not just saying that's not just Phillies fans. A lot of other teams and their fans of the other teams have seen how good he's been now as well. He has just stepped up unbelievably, and I generally think come playoff time, it'll be one game where he just saves us, no matter what. Like, he'll step up, get a home run, or just make a fantastic save or something like that. I just think he's just blown me away, honestly.
He's unbelievable. And he home runned in 2 straight games going into that game 1 as well. Went back to back with Bryce. The triple play was also very, very cool as well.
That was just like that was like our first triple play in was it 2016?
2017.
Yeah, that's
the first time I've seen a triple play live as well, like watching TV. Like I've never actually seen a triple play. I don't remember the one in 2017. I probably slept through it. Another very cool moment this season so far.
That was also like the first triple play involving a Phillies pitcher since 1960s. I read
it was the first 1-3-5.
That's it. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
since in a century, something like that.
Well, yeah, it doesn't happen often because when else would Zach McKinstry just be completely oblivious to what's going on? I mean, that is embarrassing. That's like almost. Go ahead, Stu.
It was all like in slow motion as well. Like I was just
everybody was so like, what? Like, how did that happen?
I tell you what, I played a McKinstry because he ran home and ran straight to the dugout. He wasn't looking back. I think he was fully committed to that run, that sprint down the line.
Do you know what made me laugh as well? As T-Mac tried defending, it's like there's a bit of a glint, so you can't like quite see. I was like, don't defend.
No, he knew. McKinstry was not coming back. He knew as soon as he set off that was going to be he was going to be out at the play at the.
It's genuinely almost as bad as that. Do you remember from years ago, Javier Baez had
from against the Pirates?
He was in a force.
Yes.
And instead of running directly to the first base bag and handling the force, the Pirates first baseman chases him down the line, and somehow he avoids the tag and then makes it all the way to third base after they just go all around the horn. All these guys have scored.
And the run scored.
Just a mess. It reminded me of that moment.
Exactly, yeah. Baez ran first and then ran all the way back to home. His fellow teammate slid across home, got the run, then he ran to first. Pirates are throwing it all over the field. They don't know where the ball is. He runs to second, then gets to third. I have never seen a play like that.
I just don't understand. Like, just what? I don't know.
Dumb baseball.
Bad baseball. It was real bad.
We also saw Mercado make his debut, and he could be the man to step up for Spencer Turnbull, who came out after 3 innings with a shoulder soreness. His post game I watched, he was pretty calm. He reckons actually he should be available for the next game. Turnbull, funny enough, has no real good things to say about Comica Parker his time at the Tigers. Again. It said that it was a curse. You know,
he wasn't really there for any good baseball. So
he really wasn't. And he said himself, like every time he comes back here, he gets injured or it's something bad happens to him. And again, he comes out the game. But again, he seems pretty relaxed. The Phils don't need, according to Corey Seaman, Phils won't need a 5th starter until July the 6th, as they have a day off on Monday.
I saw.
So he may be back for that. Or Mercado may get a game, but Alex, this is not a bad man to step up. You know,
no.
He's had triple, albeit AAA. He's had 10 starts, an ERA of 1.78. Though he is averaging 4-5 innings an outing, but still, next man up mentality. You know, we haven't been let down so far by anybody who stepped up, who's either gone to demise and come back or stepped up. And I'm quite looking forward to seeing what Mercado's got in this starting role if he is called upon.
It seems as though they're working him on a 1-inning basis. So I'd expect that he's probably, unless something significant has happened to Spencer Turnbull, they're probably priming him for kind of the stretch run, as it were, giving him some experience out of the pen. I think next year he'll probably build up to a starter's workload, if that's still what they see him doing. But he is first of all, I said this during spring training. I said it during the season, and I'll say it again. No idea what the Rays were doing letting Michael Mercado go, because the fastball is unbelievable. It's one of the spinniest and most well-grading fastballs, I think, in the Phillies organization. It's a very, very good fastball. It's got really good IVB. Very excited about it, but then he also matches it with a couple pretty good secondaries. And I don't know, I'm not I'm not an expert, right? But this looks like a guy that at least has a spot in a major league bullpen to me, let alone a major league rotation. But that remains to be seen. Yeah, not you could do much worse for guys to call upon, and obviously you want Spencer Turnbull to be healthy. But I do foresee a world in which we possibly see kind of like a Spencer Turnbull, Michael Mercado piggyback situation going on, just so that they can limit
the old opener sort of.
Yeah, but this way you kind of keep not even. I think Spencer Turnbull would open, and then Mercado could fill up bulk behind him.
Then what? Are we talking next year, or are we talking this year?
No. Talking this year. I don't know what's happening with Taijuan Walker. I think that it's pretty obvious that this blister issue that we're talking about is more.
The
he
hot
just
spot.
needs to refine his splitter. But I don't know. I have a hard time.
Could they reassign Walker to the minors for
no. He is not
even for recovery from injury.
He would need. Well, they can send him on a rehab assignment.
That's what I mean. Sorry, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Could he go on a rehab assignment 2 games in AAA?
They can. I don't know how to exactly formulate an opinion on this yet, because it really does feel like this relationship. You have last year's postseason where he obviously did not pitch at all, didn't touch the mound. And then you have this, it's been a tumultuous year, but also you have this very clearly, I'm not going to say it's an illegitimate IL thing, because that would get Dave Dombrowski Billy Eplered. But I do think that there's, I don't know, it feels to me as though there's fraying in the relationship here. And so I don't know what that means for anything regarding the future of Taijuan Walker. But I do know that right now where he is not where the Phillies want him to be. No. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I think for the time being, I could see Spencer Turnbull getting a little limiting on his innings. I mean, what is he at now? 50-some innings pitched on the year?
Yeah, and he's already picked up an injury, which doesn't bode well, and it's sort of
the story of his career. It seemed precautionary, I will say. So we will see. But I do think I foresee the Phillies wanting to not have to make a move for a starting pitcher at the deadline. So I think they want to keep their guys healthy. And so I think that would mean either Turnbull and Mercado kind of share some workload, just in terms of maybe Turnbull gets 3 innings, Mercado gets 2 innings, then Ruiz gets an inning, Kerkering gets an inning, and then you turn to the back end of the bullpen.
What a luxury of sorts, right? Like our biggest worry of the season is our 5th starter.
It's a great problem to have.
We have one of the best rotations in baseball, one of the best bullpens in baseball.
They just signed Christopher Sanchez to an AAV.
Yeah, what a contract!
And
make Suarez next, please, because let's lock all these guys up.
I genuinely don't know if there's anything to be. I mean, that is as team-friendly a deal as you're going to find, and I get it. There's inherent risk involved, but for right now, that is going to look like a pretty excellent deal going down the line. It is very hard to complain about anything at this point, and there's multiple.
It really is.
There's multiple things that you can point to where, you could do better. But I mean, again, you got 3 innings of 1-run ball. Yeah, you got 3 innings of 1-run ball from Spencer Turnbull today. I'd take that every 5th day and then piggyback him with anybody else. I don't know. It just feels like at this point, if they have to make a move at the deadline for a starting pitcher, I'd be a little bit disappointed. I'm not going to lie.
I was. Although I heard Ruben Amaro saying in the postgame he would rather Phil went for a pitcher first in outfield. Sam, what would your priority be? Outfielder or pitcher?
I think outfield it's got to be, hasn't it? I'm with you. We've got a luxury. We haven't had this sort of pitching since Roy, Cole and Lee, really, if you think about it. So for me, it's the outfield really, and you got the inconsistencies out there. What you say, you might have a game where someone's playing well defensively, they're not bat, and then they're playing good at bat, but they're not defensive. And it's going to happen. So you just want that bit more security out in the outfield. So that's what I would prioritize, but. I'm not a GM.
Yeah.
Well, I do wonder.
Have the knowledge to get the players.
Was Amaro talking about a a starting pitcher, or was he talking?
No,
about...
he was talking. Well, he was saying pitching depth. He didn't.
Yeah.
Actually, but for me, like for the postseason, we need 4 starters. Really,
You're right.
We have the best
completely
4
correct.
starters in baseball.
Yeah, I do wonder.
The bullpen. I would like a luxury 1 more arm. I don't trust Soto 100%. I know he went well today, but I don't know.
That's fair.
I'm nitpicking.
And if you're putting Soto in a low leverage space, that's fine too. That's addition by relegation, if you will. But I think that I don't think there's any chance they exit the deadline without adding a reliever. It's just what caliber reliever. I do think if they want to aim for pitching depth, I'll drop a little nugget near the end when we review the Marlins upcoming series, maybe to talk about a potential trade candidate. But I think at this point, pitching depth is all they need. A guy with options, right? Maybe a guy that's struggled that they can throw to AAA and say, "Here you go."
You're looking at Nardi or something like that.
I'm looking at Trevor Rogers. I do wonder. I understand, but he does. He has 3 minor league options, and all he's owed is an arbitration salary next year. So I do.
It's an interest. I tell you what, if we don't turn him around,
he was nearly rookie of the year in 2019.
I know one man who'll be high on that. And that'd be Mr.
Yes, I do too. But I think that any struggling, another guy that fits that mold is Michael Kopech, right, of Chicago.
I'd have Kopech over Rogers, I think.
I agree, but he's also a reliever, not a starter. I think that depth is primarily what they should be searching for, unless they're looking to add a significant name to them.
But then let's see how Mercado goes in these next few games, even out the bullpen, because if he comes out throwing flames
and the other crazy
turns
thing,
into a Kirkring Hoffman type, player at the bullpen.
He's already looking that way, which is very exciting. But there's another guy at AAA, Max Lazar, who is dicing up AAA. He has been incredible. He's a funky right-hander. Really interesting secondaries for sure. Doesn't exactly blow you away with velocity, but he's a guy that has pitched to really, really great results. And he's another minor league acquisition that the Phillies made that they just continue to find success in that way. I don't know. Again, they have a little bit of bullpen depth. I think the only thing that you're really looking for is some starting pitching depth, and then maybe a marquee reliever. Stu, I know it looks like you've got something to add.
I mean, I'm thinking closer, and my wish list probably Mason Miller, but I know that's not going to happen without giving up everything.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. He's not getting moved. I think that unless there's a team that is willing to just say, and I know this isn't our trade deadline special, but if there's a team that's willing to say, yeah, we'll give you our top 3 prospects in our system for Mason Miller, then the Athletics will keel over and be like, okay, here you go. But from what I know and from indications that I've received, I don't think he's going to get moved because I think that asking price is so high. And it's honestly probably, I think Luis Robert is more likely to get moved, but those asking prices are so astronomically high, and they could come down, but they're so astronomically high.
I'm sure with the White Sox, they've made some strange moves. I think we could get Robert for a decent haul.
The indications that I've received would mean that you have to part with one of, if not both, of Andrew Painter and Aiden Miller, which at that juncture, I don't think that's even a thought. I think that would be insane. Again, these prices could come down, but if the Phillies can come out of this trade deadline having filled whatever gaps they want to, say they go out and get a Taylor Ward, a Tyler O'Neill, I'd be thrilled about it.
O'Neill's a good shout.
But if they come out of this while having only parted with, at maximum a top 5 prospect, ideally none of the top 2, and then, a couple of 10 to 25s, I think Phillies fans will not only be thrilled because they filled the needs that they needed to fill, but I think that they'll be thrilled because the farm system is as deep as it's ever been.
Well, it's top 10 to some people's ranks right now, which, what a contrast to a few years ago.
You could argue that the Phillies have 5 top 100 prospects at the moment, and then George Klassen knocking at the door. Even if you want to discount McAble, George Klassen and a couple of other guys in like Mavis Graves, Sam Aldegari, Gene Cabrera. A lot of success is being had in the Phillies minor league system, and it's going
to
I
start
don't know.
paying dividends
It's
in
really
one way or another, isn't it?
it's exciting, right? And you can never have too much of that talent. You can hug that talent as much as you want to, sure, but unless it is for a truly significant upgrade, it's just like people were clamoring for Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery this offseason, right?
Can you
Taijuan Walker.
Can you imagine? Like,
it's
the way it's
exactly
turned
what I
out.
said on the podcast, maybe 6 months ago, right? Before the season started. People are clamoring for those replacements. But guess what? Taijuan Walker, as bad as he's been, has been better than both of those pitchers.
Yeah.
I don't really know if you should make a move just to make a move.
In
right?
Dave Dombrowski, we trust.
Agreed.
The guy knows what he's doing. He
Yep.
had a lot of success at the Tigers, good success at the Red Sox. This guy's done it, and he
Yep.
hasn't put us wrong so far. And so far, he's been here. Look at the turnaround already. Wrap up the Tigers series. Good win tonight.
Yeah.
The pitching was outstanding. Four hits allowed. 2 of them were off Alvarado in the ninth inning. He allowed a run. It was just what a bullpen, and so many of these guys could even be in the All-Star game and should be in the All-Star game as well. But they've got to make room for everybody from every team. But Strahm, brilliant, Kerkerin, Hoffman. I tell you what, Ruiz is not getting enough credit than he deserves. I think he's been fantastic, and he had one bad game against Baltimore. He allowed 3 runs. It inflated his stats. His ERA is at 3.32. I think it should be around the high 2s. Take away that Baltimore game. This guy just comes in. He's like Hoffman last year. Just comes in.
And Bilotti the year before.
But exactly. Nothing spectacular about him. But he gets the outs. And he's consistent. And he's reliable. And you can put him in pretty much any situation. And he just gets the job done. There's nothing spectacular about him. I love the guy. And I think because of that, he's not spoken enough. And I think he's underrated outside of the Phillies massively. And Ruiz is just, again, that gem. Like, I don't even know where he came from.
He came from the Diamondbacks and had a huge home run problem last year. And the Phillies have done what they always do.
A Caleb Cotham effect.
And they truly, but genuinely, yes, it is a Caleb Cotham specialty that he helps guys trust their stuff more. He gives them, precise. We're not changing, like, these guys aren't necessarily changing things mechanically. It's just more they're trusting their stuff and they're utilizing it in ways that typically they probably would have been a little afraid to. And they're seeing results. I mean, Jose Ruiz's curveball looks unbelievable. It is a disgusting pitch.
Who knew?
I did not. And then he's started throwing a changeup that looks really interesting. Like, there's a lot going on here that, again, I don't know how you make space for an additional reliever. I mean, someone, knock on wood, you're bound to run into some fatigue issues or something like that. But you call upon a guy just out of nowhere.
Again.
He shoves. It's unbelievable.
Ruiz, Hoffman, even Chris Sanchez before this breakout he's had.
Well,
we just didn't know. The potential was there, but we didn't know. Like,
Chris Sanchez was more of an organizational success. I mean, from everybody, the strength training departments and all of Caleb Cotham obviously played a huge role, but even just pitch design folks and the lab that the Phillies have going, it's I don't know. I'm just at a loss at this point because this is like nothing. I am so used to having to find bright spots, right? Because that's just who I am. And now
2019 to 2020 is the worst bullpen in baseball.
There's too many, right? There's just too many. And now that's why guys like Jose Ruiz get overlooked. That's why, these guys that come up, David Dahl, Cody Clemens, Edmundo Sosa, in a different way, but they come up, they feel comfortable, they trust who they're working with, and they trust who they're talking to. The environment welcomes them like none other, and they succeed because they feel like they're in a good spot.
Absolutely.
And it's pretty awesome to see. It really is.
Success breeds success.
Truly.
All across the board. Talking about success, Bryce Harper. Stuart, sum Bryce up in one word.
God.
Exquisite.
Exquisite.
Yeah.
Sam, one
Good
word
one.
for Bryce Harper.
Just legend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alex?
God. He's a god. He is. In terms of, I don't think there is a better free agent signing in Philadelphia sports history.
Never will be. There never will be. It can't.
Just in terms of how he gets it, in terms of how he's playing. I mean, this is a man that in a Phillies uniform is about to accrue like how much more? Like probably 25 or so wins above replacement in his first 6 seasons in the uniform.
He is now topping nearly every single National League batting category.
It's insane.
Since May the 1st, 7 home runs, 59
Wait, that's a
RBIs.
great point. Let me look. I wonder if he's Triple Crown territory.
Do you know what he?
Because Marcel
someone's
Ozuna
denying him
has
somewhere. He'll probably get Gold
Ozuna
Glove.
has
Isn't it Ozuna?
Ozuna has 21 homers. So Harper is he's probably going to need some more RBIs.
Is Harper on
if I
20
had to
now?
guess. Yeah.
It's the RBI. Well, he's got 15 RBIs this month. Since May.
Actually, Ohtani is also Triple Crown.
Ohtani.
Ohtani has
On the
24.
broadcast today, Ohtani, even for Player of the Month, Ohtani and Bryce's stats are just a league above anybody else now this month. You know, and Bryce was Player of the Month last year, and it was just felt like a normal Bryce month.
Yeah.
This month, he's just gone above and beyond. The last 7 games, he's hit 5 home runs, 11 RBIs. 500 average. That's in the last 7 games. His June's been spectacular.
And somehow his expected stats are still like incredible.
So
like
is he on for 40 home runs, 120 RBIs? Is that as expected as it stands?
114, yeah. I mean,
he's going beyond that.
Oh, we've lost Sam.
We'll get Sam back. I think he'll go beyond that. He's just unreal right now.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
He's back. Oh, he's gone.
Sounds in a bit hokey here at the moment. Here we go. Stuart,
there he is.
Again, Bryce Harper. This is it. Obviously he's staying healthy and touch wood.
Yeah.
Finally, we're getting a full healthy season out of Bryce Harper. It's gonna be that MVP race is gonna be exciting alone between him and Ohtani.
I generally think this is actually an insane MVP race and plus the fact don't take anything away from Ohtani. Like what Ohtani does is insane, but
yeah,
Harper obviously playing first base as well, which he's still new to really.
He's less than a year. Yeah, less than a year at third base. First base.
People don't. I think people actually forget about that as well. Really.
Well, that's the one thing that gives him the leg in the MVP race. I think is that he plays a position, right?
Yeah.
Now let's not get it twisted.
It should.
I agree, but let's not get it twisted. If Ohtani was pitching, Shohei Ohtani would win MVP probably quite easily.
Yeah.
And I think in the next few years, if he stays healthy, he's going to win multiple MVP awards. But the writers, they love a guy that plays defense and hits. And I think the only thing that gives Bryce Harper the major advantage right now in the MVP race, and I still don't think he is entirely at an advantage, as it were, but the only thing that does give him an advantage is that he does play a position. And I think that, especially when he's been playing it well, I mean, he has 3 defensive runs saved this year at first base. Like, he's playing the position very well.
At Gold Glove level.
Yeah, that's a big deal. I don't know. I hesitate to say who I think is leading that race, but I do know that the people whose votes matter, they like a guy that plays a position. They hate a DH. So.
My main thing is obviously with his back issues and stuff like that. Will he get rested near the end? If we're leading the division, have it wrapped up.
Yeah, but he'll still have played so many games at first base that I don't think it'll matter.
I know we're a long way off that, but I
don't
want players rested. I just feel momentum's king. And I feel the Braves and the Dodgers, this is why they haven't succeeded of late, because they've wrapped up the division, they've rested players.
But speaking of which, again, I think we're all forgetting that JT Realmuto is on the injured list. I feel like that has gotten lost in the shuffle here. The Phillies are without one of their biggest bats, and they are still just chugging along.
Not
right?
only that, but also what JT gives you behind the plate.
Well, that's
The
an even
pitches.
bigger deal. But I mean, it is just incredible that we are able to sit here and struggle to find anything to be negative about. Well, we struggle. I don't think other sports outlets struggle, but we'll leave that where it lies. It's a very I don't know. I just hope all Phillies fans are really enjoying this ride. I do, because
It's the Phillies. Like we're the most losing franchise in baseball. You've got to ride this wave. You don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows what the second half of the season brings? I hope we can maintain it. It's going to get tough.
A part of me kind of hopes the Braves keep it close, because I feel that gives us momentum and gives us reason to keep winning games as well. And to be fair, the Braves are starting to look good again. I think they're winning just now.
They've won. Yeah.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they've already wrapped it up. Although they are in a double header, so they've got one more game tonight.
Oh, that's true. That's
okay.
Yeah, it'll be interesting how they get around that one.
And obviously, we're going to Atlanta soon. I think it's next week.
Next week? Yeah. Young Avenue for that one. Good plug.
Yeah. And that's going to be interesting, obviously, because I feel like we owe them some revenge from the opening day. But I really, really kind of hope they keep it close, because I think that's what keeps us going as well. Momentum. It's good to have something to play for, like Dave said himself. Like, momentum is king, and them keeping it close is good for us, I feel.
Yeah, it's hard not to be terrified of that series.
I don't want them to pick up too many runs on the trot. That series next week's really big. It's a good chance to see where we are, where they are. If we can get out of there, we can't get swept. We can't let them have 3 games back on us. That will be a disaster, because it will give them.
Come right? No, it's not right before the All-Star break, but that's gonna make or break my mental health.
And then the Dodgers come to town shortly after.
Oh Christ!
And then the Yankees is on the horizon as well.
That's right. Okay.
I was literally about the Dodgers were. Is it Dodgers straight after?
It must be, because we're at home. Dodgers on the 8th. I think it's a week after. I think it's the next weekend or the following week.
I know we're at the Cubs soon as well, aren't we?
Yeah, and that's a tricky series.
Yeah,
we'll see. They are in free fall mode right now. They look terrible.
I decided what the Cubs are going to do. Something tells me like there's some players there who could definitely get moved. I think for sure, like Ian Harper get moved. I saw his.
Could be.
The problem is the wild card race is so close.
Oh yeah,
that there's not going to be many sellers.
Well, we'll see.
But the White Sox, you seem out of it, so there's going to be a pile on for Robert, I think. But
I think that there's something to a seller's market that gets a lot of teams that know that in the future it might not look as bright. It kind of coerces them to sell a little bit. The Cubs, it's weird because they really don't have a lot of pieces. And then they also, they have one of the best farm systems in baseball. They have an insanely stacked farm system. So, it's a weird moment for them. I think they'll probably try and compete no matter what, which may be a mistake or it might be a great thing. But I don't know. It is very hard to. The landscape is very strange, right?
Yeah. Well, we've had one move already. The Brewers picked up a closer, didn't they? So the Stove is starting to move. Is it today that move happened?
Yeah. I think
Wait, what happened? What did I miss?
Let me have a look.
What did I miss?
There was. Stu, look it up. There was definitely a trade today, wasn't it? It was a big one as well.
Yeah.
What?
Alex, this should have been your bread and butter. Where
wait. What did I miss?
I've been
working.
Just to wrap up the Phillies' first half of the season, because we're pretty much at 80 games, they have the 3rd best record through 80 games in the franchise history, 53-27, 16 series wins, 8 sweeps, that's more than last year already, 122 run differential, the best in baseball, probably going to be it's now a 7-game gap to the Braves, on pace for 107 wins, 102 is the record. Even if you go 500 for the rest of the season, we're still going to get 94, 95. The Phil's stats, all of them are nearly all the best in the National League and baseball. Sam, this first half of the season, How would you sum it up so far?
Oh, it's been great. I'm sorry about the connection issues. I'm in
No,
my
you're all good, mate.
man cave out the house so I can be loud. It's been great. For me, from a sports perspective, the Sixers obviously let me down and let us down as Sixers fans. My soccer team got promoted back to the Premier League, but
Who's your team, Sam?
my team's Southampton, so I'm not far from
congrats!
Dave.
I'm a
Yeah.
Leicester fan.
Oh, nice. So we both got promoted. So
Born and bred.
yeah.
Yes, we did.
You did. So obviously it's been a good sort of start to I suppose the baseball season, but I've been so intrigued because normally you're like so hard to watch so many sports. So I've always said this to Dave and others. I've always been like April, May. It's kind of been like I'm not fully in on the Phillies, but it's just been like you can't miss it. Unmissable matches. You want to watch the games, and you're dual screening much more than you used to, and I certainly am. And it's been so intrigued to watch the Phillies, and it got me back in love with them. How I first fell in love with them in 10-11 with just like you said about Harper, he just gets it. As long as he doesn't wear a Sixers jersey this time to any playoff
Yeah,
games,
can we
it
not do
should
that
be fine.
again?
Yeah. But he's just been incredible. He just gets a city. Bohm as well. 2 years and a couple months since I beat this place, and he's just become a cult hero. Just how the players are. Like I love the banter and stuff. I love the as soon as someone's on the camera, and I'm sure NBC Philly doesn't, but just like the pouring the water and Gatorade on the player of the match, and I just love that. You can just tell there's so closeness, and it just feels like Rob's got him in a position, we just come on leaps and bounds since the analytics and Gabe days, and now it just seems like it's all positive. I'm just so happy to be supporting the Phillies right now.
Yeah, the whole camaraderie between these guys is just
Pretty amazing.
It's I don't see it anywhere else.
The trade was Dallas Keuchel from.
Yeah, I know.
Mariners.
Sorry. I know.
You scared me so much. I thought I missed something huge.
No, it was Dallas Keuchel from the Mariners.
I knew trade, and I thought it was Mars, but I wasn't sure who it was. I just looked down. I was like, oh, okay, that's all right. Sorry.
It was Keuchel. Well, interesting. Sam's right actually in terms of you don't want to miss a game. Like the amount of sleep I've lost. Like usually April, May, well, even June, I'll pick and choose what games I'll stay up for. Usually the weekend games, not too bothered up missing the games during the week, and while I watch the highlights in the morning. But it's just been so hard not to watch live. And even last night, I lasted 7 innings and fell asleep. But the amount of time that T-Mac has been the soundtrack to me dozing off, not in a boring way, but just the amount of times I've woken up to "Thank you for watching" screen on MLB TV.
I got a subscription for this year because I thought it was going to be a special season. So I have to get up for work like 5 a.m. most days. So I have to go pretty much all the way to about 1-2 o'clock when I get home to avoid the game so I can watch it full back. As I don't go on Twitter or anything until then, and I got like 100 notifications. I could just see in my phone like, oh, so something's definitely happened. Is it either good or bad?
Yeah,
I know if it's been good because my wife would normally send me like something from Instagram with Boom, and normally Dave's involved somehow. So I try to avoid it at all costs. So, but like that's like the thing. I've not really missed many games this year, which is saying something. Like I feel like they have become like pay-per-view. Like you just don't want to miss it. That's what it is. It's like that FOMO. You got that fear of like, oh, I wake up in the middle of the night. Do I check the score? Do I not check the score?
Yep.
Well, I watch every game, but I remember last year, the one game that I was out and about for, and my phone died, was Michael Lorenzen's no-hitter.
Oh.
And I turned my phone back on. I got to a bar. I plugged it in. I caught like the final 2 outs. But I saw that Michael Lorenzen was still in the game, and I was like, oh, my phone must just be like buffering, or it must just be catching up with like, and then I was met with obviously an insane surprise. But it really, this year, it's completely different. This is a no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, you want to tune in. And it's to almost to the point where it used to be for me when I was covering the team. Like, I almost like feel like I have to schedule my life around Phillies games which is wild.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
And just look at the crowds at Citizens Bank Park this year.
Yeah.
Like nearly now as a regular sellout on Monday night.
This is genuinely
Wednesday day games.
This is like what 2009 through 12 was.
And,
I mean,
and some of the
every
reactions
game
and
is a sellout.
celebrations have been Red October-esque. You know, some of those big Bryce Harper home runs, seeing the crowd going crazy. It's just magic.
It's not even at home. You look at road games. It's Philly fans everywhere as well, which is just
taking over.
And it's just like, I mean, as a Phillies fan that lives in New York, I look at Yankees ticket prices every now and again, and it's very it just reminds me of, when you're playing well, those ticket prices, sometimes at Citizens Bank Park you can get like, $15 tickets, like when the team's not, the best in baseball. You can get like $15 tickets. You can get, even I get Mets tickets for like $4 on the regular, right? Because they're terrible. But I look at Yankees games sometimes, and it's like hundreds of dollars for nosebleeds, right? And Citizens Bank Park is the same. And it's just like, when this team is going well, it's nothing like it.
It's special. Like this is obviously, for me, this is following since 2012. I missed out on a lot of the pre-2012 years. So just watching these games, watching I've been so close to splurging money and going out this year, and just I'm holding firm. But again, FOMO, just even being over here and watching, I want to feel it over there. I want to be at Citizens, because when I went out in April, it rained every day. It was freezing cold. There's about 1,000 people after that 7-hour delay for the Bryce game. It was fun, but since how they've kicked on after that has just been unbelievable.
Yeah.
And
you took the weather with you, Dave.
I really did. And it was, I love
Well, it's incredible because the last time he came over before that, he brought all the best luck. He turned the Phillies season around.
Yeah. Girardi got
the Angel series. Yes.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and both my postseason visits, we've swept the Braves. Well, we beat the Braves and clinched both times. But I'm saving myself for that World Series week. I've got 7 days off, clear on that World Series week, and if we get there, I'm on that plane straight out of Philly. I'm not missing it.
You can
got a
time.
Hey,
we've got to
stay the whole time. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is the year. Very quickly, guys. 5 is the record for Philly players in the All-Star game. I just want number. We'll cover the All-Star next week. We'll have a good idea of who's going to be. Well, we'll know who's going to be there by then. I want a number from you guys. Stuart, how many Phillies players are going to go into the All-Star game?
So I'm going to go with 6. I think 6. I'm thinking Harper, Bohm, Turner. I think you'll probably be in because I think Mookie's probably going to be out. Suarez, Strom, and I want to say Hoffman might be it, but I feel like this is the fact that you have to get every team in.
It's going to scupper a few of our players, I think.
Yeah.
Sam, how many and who you got?
I think you're right. I think it would be very wrong to say that Harper, Boom, Ranger aren't going to be there.
Even as starters. All 3 of them could be starters.
Well, I think I know Ranger didn't have his best game recent. I don't know. You've got recency bias as well, haven't you? I know the votes are in and they're up there, but yeah, I'm with Stu. I reckon the 5 or 6 mark. I think the relievers and stuff, it's going to be tough. I don't know enough about the rest of the National League, if I'm honest, to say what relievers would take over. So my honest opinion, so going off the starters, I think we're going to have 3 or 4 starters.
Strom's the one I worry about because he's not like a household name, but they have to kind of honor the streak that he had. So that's what makes me think.
I would hope so. I've got 6. I've got Bohm, Bryce, Suarez. I think Wheeler, depending on his next couple of starts, could play himself in.
I don't even think it's a question. I think he's got to be.
You think Wheeler's going to be in? I think he's got to be. I think Hoffman
has
to be there as well. I
he's
can't
the best.
see.
Zach Wheeler is the best pitcher in baseball right now. If you take into account everything, durability, innings, capable of going, strikeouts, the whole 9. He's the best. He just is.
I think, and I've got Strom, Hoffman, Alvarado could sneak in there as well.
Could be.
But I've got 7. Stott won't make it because with the bat, I don't defensively. I think he's outstanding with the bat. I think that might keep him out.
Yeah.
Turner, I don't know about Turner.
Might have missed too much time.
I think that's what's going to keep him out. So I've got Bone, Bryce, Suarez, Wheeler, Strom, Hoffman, possibly Alvarado. Alex,
I have 6, and I don't know what the delineation is of them, but I do know that the entire rotation deserves to be there, save a couple of names. You could argue that the Phillies' 3 best relievers.
Gets in, Alex? Do you think he'll get the nod?
I don't see any reason why not.
I don't, but the fact that they're gonna have to get pitchers in from other teams, like may stop. I'd love to see it, and man, he deserves it. But
on my break today, I was trying to do like each team a breakdown of which player and position and stuff, and I was like, I just can't see him getting in.
I can't either, but I think that I'm just naming names, right?
Yeah.
So those 4 Phillies starters should be all-stars. They should be. Will they be? I don't know. They should be, right? Then you have the Phillies' 3 best relievers should absolutely be all-stars. You could argue Orion Kerkering should be an all-star. You could argue Matt Strom should be an all-star. You could argue Jeff Hoffman should be an all-star. You could even argue Jose Alvarado should be an all-star. There's so many to choose from. Probably like 1 or 2 of them should get in, 1 or 2 from the rotation. Bryce and Alec Boehm are locks. And then I think you could also, depending on how voting goes, I mean, who's to say? Because apparently Phillies fans are ruining sucks anyway. It's the worst thing ever anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But
all of them are worthy.
It really... There's some delineation of 6 of those, the majority of the roster that should be all-stars. And so I don't know. I thought it would be really cool if Phillies fans really banded together and made Garrett Stubbs like the most heavily voted player. But that's obviously not going to happen. But kind of the White Sox are doing that with Martin Maldonado. So I don't see why not.
One quick one. Do you see Carl in the home run derby?
I think that would be really cool. I doubt any Phillies will participate. I think they're taking the season too seriously.
Yeah. And the old jinx of
it messes with your swing.
The timing and the swing.
You're hitting epheses, and you're trying to swing with all your might. It does mess with your swing a little bit, but I think that they are going to be taking the season too seriously. And I think, if anything, I think Bryce will take the lead there. And if he says no, then I think everyone else will say no too.
No, I agree. Social media, I asked you guys questions to get in across all the social medias on Insta, Twitter, Facebook, and Threads, as it posts there now. So basically, who's been your Phillies MVP so far? How many Phils against the All-Star? How many wins do you think we finish on? And one player to be brought in at the deadline. From Facebook, Christopher Michael says Ranger Suarez is the Phillies MVP so far. Alec Boehm. He's gone into length here. I should have. So he's going to his MVP. MVPs. Okay, so Ranger Suarez 1, Boehm 2, Harper 3. Honorable mention to Edmundo Souza. Absolutely. Rob Owens says Harper MVP, Ranger for Cy Young, 103 wins, at least 6 Phillies in the All-Star. Harper, Trey, Boehm, Ranger, Nola, and maybe Strom. Melody Dixon says deadline player Jake McCarthy. Did we just mention that?
No, we talked about it last week.
We did, I think we have mentioned Jake McCarthy before.
He came up in trade rumors. I don't think that's a thing.
No, I don't see it. She also says 102 wins. Jim McKell Hatton says MVP Bryce or Boehm, 97 wins. And Lewis Robert as the sweepstake. I need to charge my laptop super quickly. Somebody pan for me very quickly.
Well, let's go down the line. Let's see. Who do you guys think win predictions, MVPs, and trade deadline? Stu, you start.
I'll start then. MVP for us. To be honest, it's pretty much between Bryce and Ranger. I think. I think Rangers will get Cy Young anyway, so I'm on that. I know.
I like that. I like it.
Yeah, wild takes. We're doing hot takes.
Yeah.
I think Bryce gets MVP regardless. I feel like you're going to give Bryce MVP anyway. That's just my hot take because I think he plays position, and I feel like Otani's probably going to get it eventually anyway. So
I mean, he already has one.
yeah, exactly. I think wins. See, I was thinking around about 100 wins, but I feel come near the last couple of weeks, I think they might take a wee. I don't hope they don't, but I think they might take it a little bit easy. I'm thinking between 97, 98 maybe. If we go over 100, I'll be buzzing. I generally would be buzzing because that's what I said at the start. I just said pretty much, why not go all the way? Other than that, I'm pretty sure Bryce MVP, and some names I like obviously bring in. I think the one I saw originally was Jazz Chisholm. I think I was Chisholm Marlins. Like I know I saw that the Athletic sort of surveyed like all the executives and expected him mostly to get traded, and they did say the fit would be quite good with the Phillies. I think they can make it work. Not too bad, maybe not to give up too much. So that's maybe one I'd like to see maybe come in.
My only problem with Jazz is I don't think he'd fit in with the chemistry of the team. I don't know.
I don't know. I think he would. He's a huge personality, but
I don't know. I don't know him enough, but from what I see of him, he's a bit of a showman himself at Miami. He'll be coming in. He's a big fish there. He's the big guy.
There's only room for one.
He'll be coming into Bryce's house, and and there's relatively no egos at the Phillies anyway. And I just feel he carries a little bit of a persona and a bit of an ego. But as a player, I think it's possible. It's not a bad option. Sam, who would be your list?
So are we doing the wins first?
Wins,
go
MVP of the year and trade deadline.
Yeah.
So wins. I reference this team to the early, what do you call it? Tens. Is that what the era's called?
Yeah.
So I think 102 wins is what they got from memory. 103. So I'm going with 102. We're going to match that with the Aces. MVP. I mean, naturally, you want to say Harper. Feel good stories Ranger, but as you said, you've got to give Wheeler his props as well. So for me, it's between Wheeler and Harper on there. And I would like to see if the Phillies could get, what's that Cubs guy called again in the outfield?
Ian Happ?
Bellinger?
Oh. Bellinger's interesting.
Wow. That's that. I like that.
If that's who you meant.
I would Suzuki.
Yeah, was it Hap? I think. Yeah, yeah. That's the one I've seen the most
That's
sort of
good.
on social. So, but I don't know how realistic that is. So that would be the one. That's what I keep seeing, and when I've seen highlights and stuff, he looks a good player. So that's the one I would go for.
Still has 2 years left in his contract. I saw as well.
And Bellinger is a really interesting idea. He's probably a free agent after the year anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say it'll be a short-term 2-month contract, wouldn't it? Or whatever we did with Syndergaard that time.
That's an interesting one. That's one that I haven't actually heard a lot of, which I
just
didn't
made
think
it up.
about it.
So
I didn't think about it.
You heard it here first.
I don't know why, but for some reason, I outside of Phillies players, I've always had a love for Cody Bellinger. I don't know if it's due to fantasy reasons or whatever. I have deep love for Cody Bellinger for some reason, so I wouldn't be against that.
Quickly going back to Twitter, quickly get these in. Peter says, Ranger, Cy Young, it's not even close. Harper, Bone, Ranger, Wheeler, and Strom to the All-Star, 96-ish wins. By the way, personally, I think we're going to need probably 98, 99, 100 to win the division. If we get those wins, we're going to be close.
Yeah, wait. Who are your MVPs and your trade deadline wishes?
I'd go left field and go Alec Bowman so far as an MVP. And
I would too.
I think his season's just been remarkable. And if he continues it and gets up to 122, 125 RBIs, the way he's playing at third base has been fantastic. He hasn't got the stature for third base. The gangly 6'5", octopus at times with his legs and arms everywhere. But my word, the whole story of where he was, like Sam said, just 2.5 years ago to where he is now. If he maintains this, incredible. You know, his average is great. It's just Bryce. We sort of expect it. You know, he is the showman.
That's my reasoning too.
Alec has just come out and just what he's doing right now. Of course, I'm biased. I love Alec. We all know, but you just can't look past what I see out there from him every game. You know, and how like that's Alec Bohm is just having the season of his life right now.
In terms of taking the next step, that's where I'm at too. I just think that, and what's awesome is, I mean, Alec has been a guy that expected stats love him all the time. And now he's having one of his like lesser BABIP heavy seasons, and yet things are landing more, which is just really funny. But you look at his slash line through 77 games.
He's leading doubles by a long way,
by a landslide. He's hitting 309. I had to look it up just because it's insane. Well, and this is, I'm assuming, from yesterday, but either way.
At the start of the season, people were going, "Oh, Bohm needs more home runs."
People were saying he's going to get traded.
Maybe so. Maybe he did. But what he's giving us in RBIs, in doubles, in getting on base, I think he's got a ton of runs as well.
He's on pace for 20 home runs. He's hitting 309, 362, 500, which is like exactly what you want from a 4 or 5 hole hitter. Like, he is, and he's striking out 13% of the time.
I was going to say his strikeout
crazy, and it's been that way for years. It is so.
And how clutch he is, you know, you feel like his batting average with runners on in scoring position is in the free. I'm pretty sure it's still in the threes as well.
It might even be in the fours. He's incredible.
Stott's in the. In fact, yeah, if Stott's in the threes, I'm pretty sure Bohm's going to be up in the fours. I'd give it to Bohm as it stands right now. I think we finish on 97. I think if we go 500 for the rest of the year, we still get 95, 96 wins, which I think is what's going to happen. I think we're going to drop some series to the tougher schedule, but we should still be up on the lesser teams. Whether we win the division, it'll be great. I'd love to get one over the Braves. Everyone says, "Oh, you win the division and you have that rest and you don't play the wild card, you lose momentum." Well, the Astros won the World Series against us. They didn't play the wild card. I don't believe in all that. I don't either. I believe
it'd be nice to bust up that streak that they have going. It would be really nice.
It would be great. It would be. I just think there's so many magical things happening this season already to the Phils. The way they're breaking records, you know, even the triple play on the other night. It was just, just again, we just need like a no-hitter or a cycle just to really put the cherry on what has been. And we've been close to no-hitters.
I do think one of the pitchers will throw a no-hitter before the end of the year, or end of the season.
I can see it. I can see it from
scientists. I too think Taiwan Walker will throw a no-hitter this year.
If he's in London again.
To be fair,
yeah.
London Ty Walker would be like Cy Young in a year, so which is
the irony of Taiwan Walker coming out of Philly and out of the country and pitching his best game in a long time. One player, I've always been a fan of Robert at the White Sox for a long time, and I think if you want production, I think as well, if we get Long coaching him as well, I think we'd get a very, very good version of as a player Robert should.
Everyone forgets how good he is. He's
had a bad injury. Everyone forgets he's still really recovering from a bad injury.
Like, he's so talented. It's unreal. And I don't know,
Alex. You put that man in a Phillies jersey with the coaching we've got. I really do think he's going to become.
I don't know if the deadline's the right time to acquire a player like that. Especially when a lot of what you're doing right now is built around chemistry. But I do think that it's ridiculous how many people are saying, "No, I don't want him. He's injury prone. No, I don't want him. He's bad. He's lazy. He's this." That is such lazy commentary. It really is. And I implore people to go and watch his season both last year and just who he was as a prospect. This is a guy. This is basically like trading for Julio Rodriguez of the Mariners. He is, and yeah, Julio's underperforming right now. I don't give a rat's. Yeah, Robert is an incredible baseball player. And when your team has an opportunity to trade for a generational baseball player, you should probably consider it at the very least.
He's still young. He's still young.
27.
Really?
He needs to come out of that White Sox environment
God.
as well. It's.
Can you blame someone for? It's just like Bryce Harper in his contract year with the Nationals. Like,
honestly, is.
Can you blame him for being checked out, and can you blame him for wanting to preserve his health?
And let's have a reminder: Bryce in his last year at the Nationals, he was lazy. He didn't want to get injured because he knew how big free agency was. Robert is in exactly the same position.
If you think his agents aren't in his ear saying "play your best GD baseball," you could get on a real winner this year. Like, I'd
have him in a heartbeat.
It's insane.
Will give up for him? I don't know. I trust Dombrowski. I trust if the price is too high, he won't do it.
I think that price will be too high, and that's why mine is not Luis Robert. But I do think that at some point you got to look into trading for a guy.
Unless, of course, this one does pick him up. Someone else picks him up in.
I feel the Yankees will make a big move. I think the Yankees will make a big move.
I don't think they'll make it in center field, though. I think that if anything, that's probably going to come either at first base or in the pitching staff. I don't know about the Dodgers. They might, but I also think that the Dodgers have made all the big moves I could ever possibly think the Dodgers will make, and it hasn't done them any good. So I don't know. I think the Dodgers are they can do whatever they want to do. I don't care about the Dodgers.
They don't get far in the postseason except in the year that didn't count. So,
but again, I think that the number one important, and we'll cover this during the trade deadline show, but I think the number one important thing is you want to acquire guys that fill the need, right? It doesn't need to be a superstar. It just needs to be someone that fills the need. So I think at this point, what they're looking for is just a platoon bat with Brandon Marsh that when he plays center field, they can play left. When he, is when a left-hander is in opposing them on the mound, Brandon Marsh can sit and this right-hander can come into the game and play well, right? It doesn't need to be some major acquisition. I know we have this want and need for a shiny new toy, but again, we look at Taijuan Walker this offseason, right? You wanted Jordan Montgomery, you wanted Blake Snell. Taijuan Walker has somehow been better than both, and they've all been terrible. Yep. So the shiny new toy is not always
in AAA. He's found his rhythm again.
I completely agree with Dave Dombrowski in that the best version of this baseball team has Johan Rojas in it in some capacity. And that doesn't have to be as a starter.
I love it. He's raking back in AAA. Absolutely love it. And I hope he might continue. Right. We'll quickly wrap this up. Basically, you predictions for the Marlins series. I'm going. The lineups, we could sweep this. It's our best pitching going. It's our top 4 pitchers.
It's not only the Phillies' best pitching. It is the Marlins. I don't even know what to. Not even. The Marlins, they're without Jesus Luzardo. They're without Braxton Garrett. They're without Sandy Alcantara. They're without anybody.
Although, caution, they have just beat the Royals again.
Which is insane to me. But who pitched?
Oh, they haven't. They blew it. Sorry, they blew it in the 8th inning. They lost 5-1.
What a surprise.
That's such a Marlins thing. So
I'm going sweep. I think back at home, big weekend, good pitching matchups. I'm going sweep. Stuart, what you going for?
I'm thinking because at home, our home record right now is just insane. I'm thinking my heart says sweep. My head says probably take 3 games out of 4.
I'll take 3. But I like a sweep. Sam?
Yeah, I think Alex hit on the head when you see the injuries on the Marlins and we're at home, as Stuart said. I expect 3-1 at the very minimum, but I'm going to go sweep with you, Dave, 4-0.
Yes, do it. Alex?
If Trevor Rogers, Kyle Tyler, who I've never heard of, which is Roderick Munoz, who I've barely heard of, and Yanni Chirinos, who I didn't even know he was still in the league. if they lose a single game to either of those four men, I will be sincerely incorrigible. I inconsolable and incorrigible, as Chris Jones would say. I will be on the news.
Legend.
It is just I can't see it happening, and especially the
can't see it
state that
happening.
offense is in. It's a bad scene over there.
It
Tim
really
Anderson. Tim Anderson has hit his last 17 hits have been singles. He's got like
Wow.
oh my god,
there's
bad.
some ugly stats coming from that team right now.
It's gross.
I think even some games will get the starters out so early. It's a 4-game series. Their bullpen's going to be in tatters by Saturday and Sunday.
I think the only thing that
record,
they. Oh, sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
Our home record at the moment is 31-12. 31-12.
The only thing
That's
they have
so
to
good.
watch out for is, if they don't score early enough and then somehow it is a thin game towards the 8th or 9th inning, Tanner Scott has just been unhittable.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, we need to avoid Tanner Scott at all costs.
That's it. Really.
I
mean, that's the only good player on the roster.
We got to sweep it.
Yeah, it's bad. It's real
right.
bad,
We will.
really.
We'll reconvene next week. Well, hopefully we have swept the Marlins, and we are going into the series after, which is the Cubs. The Cubs and then the Braves. So the Phillies will be back on the road next week. Guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. It's been a fun one. As always, feeling good about the Phillies. Let's get this swept, and then we'll look ahead to the Braves series on the horizon. But from me, Dave Shaw, it is Ring the Bell. From Stuart.
Sweep. I'm changing my mind, but yeah, ring the bell, and ring the bell.
Sam?
I was going to say sweep as well, to be honest. So Stu stole my thing because of the Marlins, but I'm going to stick with it. Sweep.
And ring the bell. Ring the bell, Sam.
You got to ring the bell, Sam.
Ring the bell. And Alex.
Ring the bell, Dave.
Let's go.